That shows who is doing what for whom. They saying they trying to stick to a set of facts. I know they still can hear me because I know the technology that they have and the technology that should be out there for the streaming devices that are out there, the streaming platforms that are out there. You know, they're wrong for doing this. Now I have to wait until 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 5 days, 5 days before I can get back online at 6:34. And I'm like, I don't get it. You said this is a safe environment for non-misinformation and disinformation, but we know that when it gets too tough, when I say stuff, you know, it always get conflicted and always, because this is a search engine. I don't know if they have both. I don't know if they have both and person watching in an AI engine uh listening to what I said. That's why I keep saying alleged, 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 you know. Um if I was on gut feel, this wouldn't have been happening. No, let me stop. Seriously, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's finish this out strong. It breaks my heart because so many people, some Mexican people want to come over here and start their life over. It's some people, that have 401ks and stuff, but the bad people that used the Biden administration to come over here and have cell phones and be trafficked and everything, to have cell phones to be used to call certain um like you're never going to see a government, except rare, very rare, like the judge that helped the cartel member and the other judge that was the cartel member was living with. It's very rare that you see that. But these cartel members, they're bad people, man. They're bad people who have done bad things, multiple bad things, like multiple bad things, and they're not stopping anytime soon. And if we know that certain people in Mexico aren't being honest, allegedly, then we have to keep on our toes and keep America safe for America and worry about America. That's what I mean when I say America worries about America. America is an introvert, extrovert, omnivert, like America worries about America, what's best. Sorry, what's best for America? What's best for America? So yeah. Um yeah. This was way before the Biden administration too. Cartel's been out for a while, a long while. Probably as long as I've been born, if not longer than that. But they have grown and they came over here. And that's where the ties get conflicted. Oh, this is the guy that got. Oh, and now what show is he on? He's on. What show is he on? Dude, he made a he did something very vile, and now he is on the news. Let's remember. Let's go down memory lane with this. Alex Padilla. Stephen Colbert. He tried to run up to the podium, and Secret Service that Christy Nome had arrested him. I mean, how would you feel if a big guy like that ran up to the podium to try to talk to a woman? I mean, like, there was no real reason why you needed to run up to the podium to sit up there and talk to her when you could have talked to her from behind the podium where everybody else was at. And now he gets on the Stephen Colbert show that easy. But if you're not a Trump supporter, you get a lot of publicity. I had to earn my publicity. I had to earn every ounce, every inch of it. You know, it is what it is. I never purposefully went out and tried to do something um obnoxious to get publicity. I never did that. I never was a person to do something obnoxious to get publicity. I never drove to the White House with a diaper, on. I never tried to do anything crazy like some of these people. And somebody actually did drive to the White House with a diaper on. This Korean or Japanese or Chinese person drove to the White House with a diaper on, ready to attack the president. And this was during Biden. So somebody had to be watching over Biden. But he was gonna shoot up the White House. That's what they say. And um you, obnoxious, stupid, dumb. That's a woman. If a man is walking up on a woman is her first response is to run. But since she has Secret Service with her, they took him down. Wonder who got that hit to put him on to the Stephen Colbert show. I wonder who took that L or took that win, took that W to get him on the Colbert show. Who made that call to get him on the Colbert show? How many people did it? Or maybe it was one person. Maybe it was some intel. Who knows? excuse me, California intel. And that's why, like I said before, the Mexican people don't like uh white people. And they're Democrats too. And I'm being honest because they sit up there, that this is what they say. They sit up there and they try to what is it? What did they say? Um they try to dominate and just Democrats want cheap labor. They know they're not going to work for cheap. Not many of them is going to work for cheap labor. Only the ones that are being trafficked, sorry, trafficked are being doing cheap labor. But the ones that are putting in the work that are here are not doing cheap labor. They are doing big things and they are making big money. Did you just now see what got seized by Christy Noem's team? It's not fair for a Hispanic to work for cheap labor. And he just said it. He just said that he's a Hispanic himself, and he don't like how they expect them to come in and work for cheap labor. And I don't know if that's the trade-off to say that, like we're gonna buy it, like we had to buy it for 4 years, 4 or 5 years, 4 years, but it's not right. I've been past Aurora, Colorado. I actually was at the border because it's Aurora and it's another city, and it's one street. They were telling me it's one street that you go down that is Aurora. It's Aurora Avenue or some stuff. It's one main street, but it's in Aurora. Um, I had an Uber down there, but he critically injured his child's mother, and he killed his sister-in-law before fleeing the scene. And now the White House want to take him in. Is this somebody you call Barney and Friends? Is this Barney and Friends we dealing with? That's definitely not a pitch for I love you if you're shooting them. You know what's scary? What's scary And they're just doing their job. They have to know, police have to know what makes a person tick. I mean, they have to know what they have to know about the person. Like everything. Everything they can find on them. That's scary. That's scary. That's scary. That's scary. That's scary. That's scary as crap. But they're just doing their job. He just said it. He said we wanted to know everything about him. You know, and that's some scary stuff right there. I don't ever want to be in crosshairs with the police. I tell you that. Imagine what's going on. Like we know what's going on in our country, but this can't get me banned on YouTube. Imagine what's going on in territories, because obviously this is a big old contest. I'll put it to you like that. A big old contest to show his wife or ex-wife or girlfriend and show his sister-in-law that he wears the big pants in the relationship and he can give it and he can take it. Imagine what's going on in Mexico with the violence. We never get to hear that. That's what we need to hear more of. What's going on in Mexico? If we maybe it's an intelligence thing where we can't know what's going on, possibly due to the fact last I researched Mexico, um 30 people, 40 to 30 people busted out of a prison. 10 guards were killed and 30 people got out. How does that happen? See, high off of cocaine. We got to stop bringing this drugs. These drugs distort our memory, our brain. You know, and when a man is on cocaine, it's like 100 times worse, or 100 times, not even 100, a lot. You know how 21 Savage said, "How many problems you got? A lot," and he means it. How, like, a lot. So yeah, but let's see. So yeah, let's continue. Dog, that's the cruelest thing you can do is murder. It's just hit me. It's been hitting me when they said it, but that's the cruelest, most evilest, most vindictive, most disgusting thing you can do is to shoot two innocent women in front of children. This is what I mean when I said there are innocent, and I know they're Mexican. They walk around with their big boy pants talking about, hey, look, I'm a part of the cartel. Leave me, don't F with me, type thing. What they're doing is wrong. You know what's scary too? What's scary is the police have to listen to the governor and mayor. Well, the governor. Um if the wrong governors are in office, and I'm not saying that there's a wrong governor here. I don't know, I don't want to start nothing, because I want to leave on a light note. But I will say that Gavin Newsom isn't a good governor, and um, Karen Bass isn't a good mayor, in my opinion. Title to my opinion, and they can control the officers to do certain things, what they can do, what they can't do, and then you know, they brief the captain or whoever controls the head of the the LA Police Department, or the police departments within, LA and different cities. Put it to you like that. Different cities have different police departments, and they brief them on what can be done, and what can't be done. And then they're stuck with the short end of the stick, getting spit on and getting bricks thrown at them, and possibly getting shot up, because they don't like what they're saying, and they don't like what they're doing as a police officer. They tell them to step back, they don't want to step back. They tell them to do this, they don't want to do that. It's just crazy. Police chief. What if he's scared? It's not his fault. He's just put in a position, based on, you know, hopefully, diversity and inclusion. But, what if these police chiefs are scared because of the pressure that they have from the mayor and the governor? What if they're scared to even make a move, because their career may be ruined, or they may be fired, or something may happen where something may bad may happen, you know. I don't know when the right time is going to be right for us to even talk about real aliens coming down from outer space, benevolent real aliens, you know, because would that information really get to the civilians and the veterans? Because that's how I feel. I'm sorry, I had to say that. That kind of ruined the film, but I'm sorry. My mind always is on, aliens, but not illegal aliens, but real aliens, aliens that can contribute to this world and make a difference to this world. Um, yeah, so it's almost finished. We're almost finished. Hold on. I know wherever I'm moving, I'm showing up to council meetings. I already wrote the governor and everything. It is I've been hearing that people saying that it's possibly a liberal state. I'm like, I'm thinking, man, I'm thinking. I got a long 4 or 5 months to think about where I'm gonna go, you know. So yeah. That's like me going over to China saying, China, your time is up. It's time for me to be president of China. You know, I have a little joke out like that. I was gonna say a joke, but I ain't gonna say it. It's a crazy joke. It's real crazy. Like that. That's like me going up to China saying, you know, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go, Z. You had your run. It's time for me. I'm black. I need reparations. And he Z probably look at me like I'm crazy. You know, you don't go over to another country looking to be, president or take over their country. I would never go over. But that is crazy. That is crazy. That is something that, like, it's like lobotomies has been given out. Lobotomies. I think, I don't know. I'm not gonna bash it because I truly, even if I don't get to meet him, I truly want to talk to him, the mayor. Like, seriously, I know, I'm a Mongol. I know I'm a Mongol, but I truly want to talk to the mayor of Seattle, and I just want him to know that it's a lot more to be done. What have you been doing about the crime? You've been setting things in motion, but it's still crime. Every time it gets hot, it needs to be, why can't we prepare for this? And this is every state, every major state. Why can't we prepare for the summertime when people minds just go kooky? They drink too much beer or they do too much extra. They doing too much extra and they want to fight. Why can't we figure out what's causing the hype and the crime instead of trying to throw out there something that will help ease the tension of the civilian people, the citizens? That's so crazy to me. Like, I don't get it. Like, we need to straight set this up and get rid of the people before in spring, get rid of the wave, not the red wave, but the wave in spring, because it starts happening between spring and definitely increases. Always look at your statistics of your crime rate based on the city that you're in. It always goes up a little bit in the spring and a lot in the summer. It comes down in the winter. Winter, not fall. What do we need to do about that? And that's what I want to know. Because I'm an inspiring wannabe senator. I'm still considered a politician, seeing as though I ran. What needs to be done? What needs to be done about man, whoever is making that food smell good, because I don't get to eat like that because I take semaglutide. So when I smell smells, it's like being at Jimmy John's. You get the smell for free. You know, they making Chinese food. But yeah, man, what needs to be done with teachers' pay? You know, teachers' pay is low, you know. What needs to be done about police pay? More police on the force, more protection for police officers and their families, different things. So that is me, and this is my show, and I am about to get off of here. So definitely take care, be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Never waste my time.